Well, hello there. I hope you can all hear me. Don't mind the chat on that side, it's still a little bit broken. Still need to fix that. What's that? Need to find a way to fix that. Can everybody hear me? Welcome to the next AstroAddict live stream. Just looking at the chat over on this side. Can you all hear me? Wonderful. I hope so. Seeing some highs in the chat. Perfect. As you may have heard. Hello there. As you might have heard, I just realized it was brought to my attention that the next video from Trevor will premiere in just about a few seconds. So let's go over there. And this should work. Perfect. But I guess I can't full screen that. You gotta live with my browser for now. Well, this shouldn't be too long. Or at least I hope so, Trevor. How long do you want to delay this stream? I don't know. Hello from Belgium. Hello. Hello from India. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Germany. It's 8 in the afternoon. Cyprus. Hello. Already more people here than if I would stream on Twitch. Maybe I should write something in the chat. Oh, I didn't want to type that. No typo? Why do I need to Google how this is written? With one S. Jesus, I'm sorry. I don't want to disappoint, right? Here we go. Hi from Vancouver, hello! Almost the other side of the world. You got a CM40 today, perfect. Is this too loud? I guess it's a bit too loud compared to my voice. And let's make it... No, I want to see the chat, come on. Hello from UK, welcome. Pressure's on. Perfect. Are you all in for this video of Trevor? I hope so. I just saw the image he's about to reveal now. Again, finally, I guess he had a lot of clouds just as well. Hello from Newcastle, hello. We need to go deeper. Perfect. I don't know why doing these live premieres is always a little bit strange. I don't think it has such of a huge benefit, at least for me. It has for Trevor, definitely. Let's see, maybe we'll do more of them those in the future. Hello from India, welcome. And here we go. Live reaction, let's see. Oh, the observatory.
Mercury will be appearing in the sky just on the western horizon there, about there. And now I'm going to put this camera on my giant Esprit 150 telescope, and we'll take a look at the planet through that in live view. I can see it already.
Mercury.
I'm putting it on the telescope now. Okay, I don't have Mercury for you yet, but I do have Venus and a very thin new moon. Look at that sliver of moon. That is definitely the newest moon phase I've ever seen through a telescope. Wow. Okay, so this is Mercury. The nebulae are returning to our night sky, which is great news for small refractor and camera lens astrophotographers. Don't get me wrong, galaxy season was fun. I shot a number of them with my larger telescope. The nebulae are returning to our night sky, which is great news for small refractor and camera lens astrophotographers. Don't get me wrong, galaxy season was fun. I shot a number of them with my larger telescope. I got the Sunflower Galaxy, Needle Galaxy, M106, and the Blow Dryer Galaxy. So not a bad haul for a pretty cloudy spring. There's still time to finish up your galaxy projects here in early May, but the nebula are coming. You'll start to see Cygnus and Scorpius rising here in the Northern Hemisphere by about midnight. If you follow me on Instagram, chances are you already knew that a backyard observatory is in the works. Rudy's very excited about it. So this is as far as we're at right now. It's a 12 by 12 floating deck. And then I've got a cutout here of a concrete pier with bolts, or concrete footing for a pier. The tripod's just sitting up there right now. That's as far as I want to tell you at this point. I'll do a full reveal and tell the whole story when it's done. This deck is made from 100% Canadian, pure, overpriced lumber. It is new moon, and I'll be shooting a new project tonight with the Canon EOS RA and the Radian Raptor 61. So that nice wide field of view at 275 millimeters on a full frame camera. Ooh, and those nebulae are back. I just love it. This project involves the Eagle Nebula, and before you roll your eyes, this time I'm framing it up with the, I don't see it photographed very often, NGC 6604, a beautiful emission nebula in its own right. So
that was a plane.
I'm going to be able to frame up NGC 6604, the Eagle Nebula, and even a little bit of the Omega Nebula at this field of view. Time for a little rundown of the equipment I'm using tonight. The telescope mount is a Skywatcher EQ6R Pro. Riding on top is the Radian Raptor 61 triplet APO with a 50mm guide scope on top of that for auto guiding, with a ZWO ASI 120mm mini guide camera. Inside of the filter drawer, inside the Raptor, is a Radian Triad Ultra quad band filter. The camera is, of course, the Canon EOS RA. The telescope mount is plugged into household AC power, and then
talking
my image
about
control
overmounting
software is astrophotography tool, which will control the exposures as well as the auto guiding via PHD2 guiding. You like the trench I dug here? Got a little bit of a wave to it. Running power out to the observatory. Oh man, I'm so excited. I'll shoot this nebula project using the Radian Triad Ultra filter, the quad band narrow band filter, which always kind of hurts to do during new moon. Ideally, I'd be collecting RGB broadband images during new moon, but from the city, it's just really tough, especially where this target is. It's like right into the light dome of the city, so unfortunately, I'll need to shoot with that narrow band assistance, if you will. May is a great time to check out the planet Mercury. It's not often that you get to observe
I will answer all the
our innermost
questions
planet in the solar
after
system.
this video is
It's
done.
always so close to the sun, but it actually gets
I
far
hope
enough
it's not
away
30 minutes long.
this month where you can actually take a look at it. So get out there and look for a bright star in the dusk sky low in the west, and it's probably Mercury.
Beautiful.
The best part about this deck is that I'm a foot off the ground, and it's just incredible how much lower that horizon feels from up here.
That's true.
I can definitely see lower into where the Milky Way core will be, which is just so exciting. I feel like I have a whole new sky. It's a really great spot, and you can imagine how I had the perfect spot picked for putting this deck down, and this was it.
Cinematic. I don't know how heavy the Raptor is, but you don't need an EQ6R to mount that one. And hello everybody to my stream, watching the new live premiere of Trevor right now, and we'll come to other things later.
12-second test exposure of the framing of my target here. So that's the Eagle Nebula, very bright in there. But just over here, you probably can't see it very well, but it's NGC 6604, and that is the other nebula I want to include in the frame. And then the Omega Nebula / Swan Nebula is just over there, but these are power lines and my neighbor's tree, so obviously we need this object to get a little higher in the sky before I actually start taking pictures. It is very late. It's after 2:30 a.m. on a Wednesday night, but that's what it takes to start photographing nebulae at this time of year. So what you can see on the screen here is this is a 4-minute exposure through the Canon EOS RA and the Radian Raptor 61. So you can see the Eagle Nebula here, NGC 6604 right here, and the Omega Nebula here. So you might be wondering why I've framed it up this way. It looks a little bit off, but really this is what I'm going for here. NGC 6604 and the Eagle Nebula. Almost right in the middle of the frame there. If I can get the Omega Nebula in a different sort of framing, a very wide
Look at that
framing, that's
vignetting.
fine too, but really this is what I'm going for here. So things are going well right now. It's a beautiful, clear night. I'm very tired. You know, at least it's not freezing outside, so it could be worse, but this is good. I'm happy with these exposures, and I think I should be able to create a nice image with this data.
This summer will be amazing for nebulae. No, I don't think he uses PixInsight. And I can see Photoshop work in the back of this image there. Awesome. And as we could see, he was imaging that, yeah, of course, full frame sensor vignette, but he was imaging very late at night. At 2:30, he only has 1 hour until it's getting brighter again. Let's go back to this one. He's only 1 hour getting bright again. I wonder how much exposure time went into that. Couldn't be that much. Isn't it in the description? I don't think so. Well, that was a great image. 2 hours of exposure? Maybe 3, my guess. So let's return to this awesome music. Look, we have a music bar over there. Isn't that great? You have a Dobsonian. What should you buy next? An EQ mount or DSLR? Well, if you already asked for the DSLR, you can of course slap that onto a Dobson, but for really long exposures, EQ mount and telescope. Can't go wrong with that. And now my observatory, Anton, will... gonna need a own house for that at first. Hello everybody, and now welcome, finally, to the AstroAddict livestream. Plans for a racer? No. If I get another telescope in the future, which is now impossible because I had to quit my job, my day job, for the studying. Maybe I have a certain Newtonian in mind. Yeah, sure, you can put the DSLR on a Dobson, but how long are gonna the exposures be? 5 seconds, 10 seconds, maybe, maximum. This music is pretty quiet. Maybe too quiet. I can see it right now. Alright everybody, what should we start with? My plan was to discuss some recent things. Maybe the latest videos, for example, the summer targets for the future. Music too loud, I'm sorry. Maybe I should put the chat somewhere else, but I can't move that right now. So I'm always looking to the side. A few miles of York. Alright. I don't know how bright York is. Alright, let's catch up with the questions that appear right now. First light on Edge HD, perfect. Looks like weather's well. Yeah, the weather will come eventually, the clear nights. Have you experience with mirrorless cameras? No. But as you saw in Trevor's video right now, maybe, if he was there, the Canon EOS RA works great for that, but I wouldn't slap an RA on a dedicated rig. Maybe for travel, but not for more. Particular question, big city, bottle 9. Nice view of view, okay. A small balcony. Is a small refractor a good start for visual? You won't see anything in a bottle 9, sadly. You can maybe look at the moon and maybe some planets, but a small refractor won't help much there. Visual observing nebulae or any other things from the city? No, sadly, that will hardly work. DIY star trackers, yes, they work, definitely. I have to build one out of my own programming, Raspberry Pis and 3D parts for the university project I'm working on right now. Bottle scale, I'm at bottle 5 to 6. Not nice, but it could be worse. How do I know what bottle class I'm in? Let's switch to the browser. I know you can't see it yet, hang on. Go to lightpollutionmap.info. I think this map is a bit older. Let's zoom in at my place. Somewhere in there, won't go on the details. But yeah, typical for Germany, yes. Somewhere in this region which is more red. Not nice, but again could be worse. And I really want to go to the next ITV telescope meeting over here. Could be so nice. Bottle scale, either download the app for your phone, that would be clear outside the app, punch in your location and it will tell you, or go to any online map. This is pretty accurate, I suppose. What do you need for lens astrophotography HEQ5? Because I own both of them, I want to do why? For lens astrophotography with an HEQ5 Pro. Well, go for a small refractor. Maybe some, if you want to have a good, start with some really good high quality gear. And not that expensive, at least for this hobby. I've seen worse. Some smaller Zenith star refractors from... I'm so sorry. Maybe Zenith Star 61, for example, from Volume Optics. I just realized that if I scroll through the chat, it will move for you. I'm so sorry. But I guess it's good, so you can see which question I'm on. Where was I? Specs suggest imaging the whirlpool right now. 8-inch reticulation, perfect. EQ6 Pro DSLR. Well, 8-inch. Let's actually... Can I share this? Hell, why not? Welcome to my desktop. You want to image M51, you'll be even closer than me with this 6-inch reticulation. Exposure time shouldn't be less than 4 minutes. 5 minutes would be ideal, maybe a bit more if you want to get this dust over here. But more important than that is to pour the exposure time in, the integrated exposure time, otherwise this image will be noisy as hell. And yes, I have my own image as a desktop background, I am narcissistic like that. Oh my god, the chat is whizzing through. Hang on. Next Astro image purchase, I don't know yet. I think I'm settled down right now since I don't have any money to spare. No job right now, not thanks to Corona, but thanks to the university. Well, notify the patrons, yes, but this is rather spontaneous, this stream. I decided to stream on YouTube again, not on Twitch. But if I am able to plan this in the future, I will definitely notify you firsthand. Should I use lenses for astrophotography? Yes, of course, you can do that. Slap the entire DSLR and lens on a small tracking mount. Doesn't have to be a huge one like an HEQ5, for example, but you can do that. Did I get a question wrong? Hang on. What do you... like to mount the... You want to find out how to mount a DSLR on a telescope? Am I correct, Stefan? With filter versus without filter. Why should I shoot without a filter? Is the first question, but I guess that could be explained in such a video. Maybe. Not a bad idea at all. And it annoys me that I have to look to the side all the time, but if I do this to the chat right now, you see what happens. Maybe I could. Let's put it over here. And now I can look right at you while reading what you type. Favorite guide camera? I only have 2 right now. I'm sorry. I have the Altair GPCam 2. Definitely works. And the ZW-120 Mini. Is there a free astrophotography editing software? Yes, there is. And the name... Come on. Wait, Serial is also for editing, isn't it? I believe Serial is also for editing. Well, stacking, of course, DSS for free. epic music in the background. Maybe too epic. It sucks? Well, depends on what you want to achieve. When someone doesn't know how to work well with and its guns, well, Photoshop is PixInsight a good solution? That was my intention as well. PixInsight is not easy to understand, to be honest, but I had a good tutorial on it. I read an entire book on PixInsight. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, the images turned out alright now. And I'm still not very good in Photoshop. I missed the question, I'm sorry. Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes moving from a Schmidt-Cassegrain moving from a 4mm lens. Well, I would again recommend a bigger refractor. There are nice refractors in the range with 714mm focal length. And if you never used a telescope before, Schmidt-Cassegrain could be a bit overwhelming at the start. Could be. Opinion on dual narrowband filters like Optolong L enhance working great. I have the L-Extreme over here. Well, from England, well, we do not have real dark skies at night during summer. We don't either. And no filter will remove the afterglow from the sun if it doesn't set. But yeah, dual narrowband filters in general, L-Extreme, L-Enhance, IDA's Nebula Booster, they work great. And if you know how to post-process this properly, I have some tutorials for that, you can get really great things out of those. The chat is scrolling right now very fast, I'm sorry. Job at university, I don't want to spend even more time in there. Well, the filter will definitely improve your images, but yeah, you can't do much against the missing night. Mirror or refractor? My favorite is refractor, because it's very handy if you have something that's easy to set up, especially if the night is cold, or if you are on the move, if you want to get out early. Having something that is reliable and works easily is very good in my opinion. Any thought on exoplanets? Yeah, I read the question but I forgot, I'm sorry. I have no experience with that, but I have... I think it was on Twitter or Instagram, but I can't sadly tell you which person it was. A guy actually started imaging exoplanets, making the light curves before the planets. Super interesting topic, but I have no experience with that sadly. And sorry I can't guide you to what channel this was. Oh my god, so many questions. Where was I? Directly to the mount without telescope to use a normal lens. Yes, there are adapters for that. I don't know if they have a specific name. If you browse some websites from astronomy shops, and from your name I suppose you live somewhere maybe close to me, I don't know. Maybe browse some local astro shops, hint hint, and they will have adapters for that. Maybe shoot them an email about that. But yes, those adapters exist and they work. L-Enhance is good, but not really around HA and HB. Really narrow. Yeah, well, that's the point of the Enhance. They split that up into L-Enhance and L-Extreme for a reason. Depending on how much light pollution you have. For editing you can use GIMP, yes. I believe Astro Stays and Astrophotography have some GIMP tutorials on editing in this hobby. PixInsight plus Photoshop, yeah. You can't even see that I marked these messages in here. Yeah, PixInsight plus Photoshop is really... can't beat that in any way, I don't think so. Photoshop is good for batching pics for... batching pics for Deep Sky Stacker? What? Batching pics for Deep Sky Stacker? To sort them out, you mean? I see. Something just disappeared on the right hand screen and I don't know what it was. Alright. Maybe the music's a bit quiet. Or maybe I could put it louder on my ears if it's not that quiet for you. Bought the 8-inch TS-RC telescope. Any tips about handling it? Yes, I have an RC. Well, tips on handling it, that's a very broad topic. Slap it on the mount and see what you can do with it. Just go and just do it. If there are problems, there are many people out here who can help. But any tips in the first place? Try to do as many things, try to sort out as many questions as you can when it's day. If you have to sort out any problems in the night, which will be there, hopefully not that many, it's not nice if you have to sort any problems of the night. Can the camera focus? You can all that you can test during the day. Would you use a light pollution filter for L instead of... Well, I have never actually tried to image luminance. Those filters are just... the best luminance filters just have a cutoff in UV and IR, as you say, infrared. Or are they not to use interchangeably? I hardly have any experience in luminance imaging, but if you have light pollution, you can hardly get around a light pollution filter. Growing an Astro channel on YouTube, any advice? That's a tough question. Do what you want to do. There are many opinions out there. Most opinions you will read from others can appear quite not arrogant and not aggressive, but they can come a bit stush maybe. Do what you like to do. You can always make mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes with the videos in the past, saying wrong things which I didn't research too well, trying to work on that. Do what you like and people will come. You don't have to... If you stop doing what you like and just produce just for the sake of producing videos, it's not gonna work. Hello Logan. I did look at Star Tools, but it was quite a way back, and as you see, I didn't look at it again. CM26 and APO refractor triplet, good idea. Sounds great. If you are, I don't know how much the CM26 can handle. If you are sure that it can handle such a telescope. Speaking of the 2/3 weight distribution, go for it. Sounds good. Experience with SCTs? No, I don't. Only used a badly collimated Ritchie-Gretchen and refractors for now. And there was a question about collimating RC telescopes. As you can maybe see, there is the chat. And as you can maybe see, I'm not the person you should ask about collimating telescopes. There are people out there who can explain the way better than me. And there are great tutorials out there from which I learned. For exoplanes, I'd suggest the Exoplanet Transit Database. There's something like that, awesome. What subject did you select in university? Why do you always retract the messages? You don't need to. Or are your messages being modded? I don't know why they would. I suppose you have all the permissions to do this. I did read the message, and will it be retracted again? I hope not. My college subject in English is called Optronics and Machine Vision. Very interesting, not very physics-like, but physics, mathematics, engineering. It's an engineering course in the end. And what we do, basically we teach computers to see everything that takes an image and draws information out of it. Barcodes, QR codes, or maybe even take an image of a bird and let's say what species is that bird. Something like this, which is hard to do, but wow, it is interesting. I love this song. Make it a bit louder. Alright people. You smell OpenCV. Haven't worked with it yet, in all honesty. We are not that deep into the programming in that part actually. We are more the interconnection between the good programmer and the good engineer. I have switched platforms. Back at it again, yes. Yes, Lux. Main reason because I don't have that much time to manage everything on Twitch. I have everything set. My English today, I'm sorry. I have everything set up for YouTube. And as you can see, most of my followers, all of you, are over here. Couldn't get that much following on Twitch that easily. Did I miss any questions? Double the refractor. Sounds like a great combination you have there. I guess most of you would prefer YouTube. I guess so. But that's why I'm here. Alright, since I'm now caught up with questions, let me drink something. Not advertisement. No Astro question. Do any caving over there? Excuse me? What do you mean by caving? I haven't heard that word before. Word? I haven't heard that word. My English today, I'm sorry. Please elaborate. Let me open up Stellarium in the background. Because spelunking? Do you mean cave diving? And no, Germany does hardly own any caves. And no, I'm not that type of adventurous guy, let's say. No, I don't do that. Again, I'm not that adventurous maybe, I only put up the telescope in the backyard from time to time. So I hope it works. If you see that in the background, it's just Stellarium being Stellarium. Awful to record. You don't need to retract your messages if there's a typo. We all make mistakes. And in all honesty, typos in social media, who cares? As long as you don't write information to maybe on the work, for example. 2 months of clouds in my city. Yeah, clouds. We know. We know. May has been acting all types of weird right now. Alright, we have Stellarium over here. Let's speed up the time to make it dark. Look at all the satellites going. Wow! The ISS was there. Up. No way, not tonight. No, it's not a transit. I just thought. Downsides with modifying DSLR besides daytime. Almost. Well, besides daytime, there are really no downsides to the DSLR if you use it exclusively for Astro. I don't think that there are any big downsides to that. You can be sure it will be perfectly clear when there's a full moon, and that's why we use narrowband. Alright, as you can see, Mars is almost moving out. Didn't Trevor mention Mercury? There it is. Behind the tree, damn it, we can't see it. And there it goes. Warranty? What are you talking about? Alright, the camera. Yes, of course. If you don't modify it with an official service, yeah, the warranty is gone. Definitely. But if you're confident in your skills, I don't see a reason why not to do it. Infrared astrophotography. Why? Alright. Summer targets for astrophotography. Let's enable these. I can orient myself pretty well if this is on. It's 11 right now. Let's put that up to midnight. Summer targets for astrophotography. Well, this area in the night sky, beautiful as it is. The main subjects from my backyard. Look at that Starlink train going through. We now have Starlinks already in Stellarium, annoying me. I know that Stellarium doesn't have the most on-time, real-time data of Starlinks, but it's annoying anyway. Well, the prime target for the summer, at least for me, Cygnus. We will look very soon. Come on, what's in there? I'm sorry for that. Consider radio astronomy. No, I'm still a student, I can't afford any of that. There are now so many Starlinks out there. But they've become pretty rare. I really think they are doing their job when it comes to orbit alignment and darkening and shading. Let's see. But again, if you see a train, they are pretty new and no way of hiding those. "19 satellites in 15 minutes, how that sucks. Always. Alright, let's go over the targets in Cygnus. Yeah, sure, it's a swan. Anyone would know that. Alright. Should I switch on... I want to disable satellites now, Jesus. Where is this button? Nah, I don't like this view, especially for wide field. Alright, this entire region in Cygnus has so much HA in it. It's always a nice thing for astrophotography. And I was just distracted by a comment about Starlinks. Pretty easy to remove in stacking, yes. And eventually it will mean I can live in a rural area and get decent internet and have dark skies. Dark skies and Starlink does not fit together. If your skies are dark, you will see Starlinks. Always. They are covered up from Portal 5 to up, but satellite view meteor shower? Oh. If it only was this easy. You live in FL, Florida, all the trains fly over me, that sucks. When I saw the first Starlink train, it was awful. What app is got all the got some evening all? What app is that? Got some good info and photo details. We are using Stellarium. Is there an info window in here? No? No. Stellarium. Free to use and awesome to plan your imaging nights with. Talking about planning imaging nights. But Stellarium is awful to record. Here you go. Talking about planning imaging nights. This is Cygnus. Main targets, maybe 5. First one, Veil Nebula as a whole or the individual parts, always amazing. You can divide it into 3 parts, so the eastern, western, I suppose, is that... Wait. Yes, this one is the east, yeah. The eastern Veil Nebula, the western, and the middle part, often credited in Hubble images. Can't zoom in that much, sadly. Sky Safari? No. I never came in touch with that program. Hello, welcome. And let's see. Stellarium, come on, why do you keep refreshing it? I'm not clicking anything. Let's click on this and see my telescope. Could I actually get all of this in one Next target for the summer, this one. This red box you see right here is my field of view with my camera and telescope combination. This is amazing. This will definitely be not like this. Like this. That will be amazing. Barnard 72. Can I just enter it like this? Too much to the south. There's too much house in the way for me. I'm sorry for that. Can't help it. Anyone knowledgeable about binoculars? Can anyone help Paul? I am not knowledgeable in that case. Need a bigger camera sensor? Well, let's go for some full frame. With my Canon 6D. But it's not Astro modified. Can't help it. I use telescope here for field of view. Is it any good and correct? I haven't used that one. Have you done a video about personalization of Stellarium? No, I have not. I have made a few hints at Stellarium here and there and how to use this, for example, the Oculus plugin. And let's continue. Yeah, and fitting the loop. It is still the plane of the Milky Way. It's almost in the plane of the Milky Way. There won't be that many stars, but yeah. Won't be that many stars, I say. Personal background. I know about that. I haven't made a video about that. I never got it to work. Because I suck at creating 360 images of my backyard. Alright. First target for the summer. I will definitely shoot the Veil Nebula, the entirety of it. Next up, I've shot all of these before, but let's see. Going from right to left, we first have the Tulip Nebula. Not very easy, to be fair. I have one image of the Tulip Nebula from way back when I started this hobby almost, in a little challenge between me and Razine from Astrophotography, and he won the challenge. His image was better in the end. But the Tulip Nebula has some great HA details all around it, all of this to the left here. And if you are really good at this, you can capture a shockwave of a black hole over here. Awesome scientific background. Cat's Eye Nebula, no, planetary nebulae are way too small. Alright. Next up on the list, as always, the Crescent Nebula. Crescent Nebula. Astro Caron, is that question directed to me? What do you mean? The Crescent Nebula. Ah, you mean this? This, you see down here, I see my face is above it. This feature is called Digitized Sky Survey. You can enable it in the options. I think it's over here, plugins. No, it's not here. It's in extras, and show DSS button. And you will get actual images of the night sky with some errors here and there. But it can help frame your target and seeing where the actual nebulosity is. I'm sorry. First, I've paid off Nikon Pro Staff's... What? I get a tripod effect on the brightest stars. Your question is way above my head right now, mainly because I can't quite figure out the English behind that. Where were we? Yes, the Crescent Nebula. This awesome exploded star right here. Wolf Ray star, I think it's called, the WR star. Shed its outer skin and bursted all of this stuff out into space. You see HA. You can't see the O3, which is spiraling around all of this. Maybe you can make it a little bit over here. But making a great image of the Crescent Nebula is super hard. Incredibly hard. You would need RGB data, HA data and O3 to make this target pop. Let's actually take a look at some AstroBin images of that, because I believe there are some amazing ones out there. I need to log in, hang on. Yeah, this is still in German, but I guess you won't mind. I believe there was a picture of the day on AstroBin of the Crescent Nebula recently. I wasn't looking for this one. That's what I mean by the O3 around there. Well, Lux, are you still watching? You posted an awesome image of the Crescent Nebula recently on Twitch. Do you still have that? That's what I mean by the... You can't see my mouse over there. That's what I mean by the blue O3 detail in there. Awesome to see. Man, I missed so many questions. Nautical Dawn. I include the Nautical Twilight in my imaging plan. Can't help it. Already now, if I could, without clouds. And yeah, thankfully in summer there are more clear nights repeatedly. And we can shoot on multiple nights in Nautical Twilight. Can't help it, there's no other way. The Soap Bubble Nebula, yeah. Somewhere close over here is such a faint nebula. It really looks like a soap bubble. It's a very, 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 very faint blue nebula. Discovered quite recently by actually an amateur astrophotographer, which is great. Let's get back. Crescent Nebula, always amazing. You're currently imaging M51. F12 Maskatov, I'm sorry. No filters with the moon in the sky. Well, the moon isn't that bad right now. Well, some filters could definitely help you. NGC 6914 is beautiful little nebula in Cygnus. I will look that up very soon. And Stellarium doesn't want to cooperate. I was also wondering if it's worth upgrading to a Zeiss pair of... You're still talking about binoculars, I can't help you with that. Plenty of O3. Alright, let's search for the nebula you mentioned. Oh, this part of the image, as you can see, was added quite recently to Stellarium. The colors don't match. But yeah, my type of exploring the night sky is I learn about an object as soon as it's in the Stellarium catalog. And yeah, this looks very promising. Maybe go a little bit deeper into that with, maybe not with the RC, but with the bigger refractor. You can definitely get some great images out of this region. Need to remember that song for an outro, maybe. And now, sometimes it's called Butterfly Nebula. I call it Butterfly Nebula because I can pronounce Seda region not that well, in my opinion. The HA region around the star Seda. Very easy to find since, well, it's a bright star. And there's so much great stuff in there. I've shot this many times before. Actually going after the same effect. The brownish nebula, if you do a weird way of color calibration. This looks amazing. And as you can see, there's so much HA data around all of this area. Then there's a big black gap, and there's the North American Nebula. And as you can see, my setup can't frame the entire thing, but I tried around with maybe something like this. I really have to pay attention to my framing. I don't want to cut away that much. The framing and positioning of the target has to be spot on. Why is Stellarium doing that? Come on. And that's almost it for Cygnus. There are of course many more targets in there, but most of them are either very small or very faint. And targets with the weird names. Need to tap out quite drastically here. Hang on. How many people are watching right now? 30. It jumped from 36 to 50. Stellarium, come on. Next clear skies in Germany will be full moon. I'm sure they will. Many nebulae do deserve portions of them, but look at this. This is kind of the worst focal length for this nebula. You can't really see into the details, but you can see the entire beauty of it. I would maybe go for something like this. Oh, well, not a 50mm lens, but yeah, you get the idea. And a mosaic, of course, if we get at least one consecutive clear week. I could do a mosaic on this. Would be pretty awesome, actually. Great idea. Not sponsored by the limo, but you don't care anyways, I hope so. A mosaic of this entire thing? Yeah, good idea. Awesome soundtrack, warning. Alright, since we're now done talking about Cygnus, my plans for this summer, at first the Veil Nebula with this orientation. Virtual Star Party. Amazing. See you. So the Veil Nebula and going for the North America. I have imaged the Seda region many times before. Do you Drizzle integrate? You don't really have a choice if you can or cannot Drizzle integrate. It's more a matter of... Well, how do I put this? You should not decide by yourself if you want to Drizzle. Your image will tell you if you need to Drizzle. If you have your setup, mount and camera and telescope will tell you if you need to Drizzle. This integration type can induce so much noise if you have well-sampled stars, like for example with this combination right here. Drizzling that will have no purpose. The stars look good, they're not too small. You would need to Drizzle this one, maybe, if you would like it. On a galaxy, yes. On a nebula, no. Awesome soundtrack. I used that before in a video. Can't remember which one it was. But now, since we're done with Cygnus, let's move on. As I said, I can't image anything around here because house. That's the north, where my mount is standing. So let's actually, maybe I can get a quick glimpse at the Ring Nebula with the retrogression. But again, so small these planetary nebulae, can't really catch anything. Tatooine? Ah, jokes. Explain words about Drizzle integration. Sure, I can do that. Who else is interested in Drizzle integration? Because if I want to explain this properly, I would need a bit more time and another scene. Oh, I have Pixel side open already. We will open my external hard drive. Multiscale linear transform or multiscale median transform? My noise reduction method is multiscale linear transform. Deep sky astrophotography, here we are. Let's choose an image. the Rosetta Nebula, night 2, lights, this one. Alright, here we have a sub of mine from the Rosetta Nebula. Gotta go, see ya. Alright, Drizzle the integration, everybody, is a process that can improve your image if you apply it right. Look at this image, for example. This was shot with a ZWO ASI-294, a camera with average sized pixels, let's say 4.63 microns pixel size, and a 350mm refractor. Think about it, if you have very big pixels and a short focal length, a star in your image will shrink even more. A star in your image can maybe only be, you ignore these oval stars. Look at this star, for example. I can count the pixels in this one. I can count that it is made out of a low amount of pixels. This is called undersampling. This star is not very well represented by the pixel array. If we now move on to an image that is decently sampled, as we say, which is good sampled, not undersampled like this one, and not oversampled. Let's get an oversampling comparison. The recent image of the Whirlpool galaxy. Yes, there's a satellite in there. This one trailed. I hope I did not include this one. No, it did not trail, it's just... Look at this star, for example. This star consists out of so many more pixels. Maybe a bit too much pixels. But the problem is, with this one, how do we get the star to look good? We use Drizzle. Drizzle will enlarge your image by 2 and compute via a very complicated algorithm pixels in between those, and enlarge your image by 2 and get this sampling correct again. It will induce a lot of noise, by the way, and that's why you first need to dither your images properly. The images need to jump at least the entire star size, maybe double the star size, in between each image. And your image needs to be undersampled, like this one. If you have a good sampled or oversampled image like this, drizzling will not give you anything, nothing at all. It will give you an image twice as large with no benefits at all. Drizzle needs dither, that's correct, and Drizzle needs undersampling. 1, 2, 3, 4, so few pixels. You can choose not to drizzle, this could look great as well. It makes editing harder and easy at the same time, but if you have oversampled stars, or well-sampled stars, like with the, like over here, not this one, like this one. Those are well-sampled stars, look at those. The normal stars consists out of enough pixels. Only drizzle if you have undersampled images, which is the combination out of telescope and camera, got nothing to do with the object. When do you apply drizzle? We'll come to that very soon. Yeah. Only drizzle if you have this. Undersampling, genau. With oversampled stars, because try to induce information you already have. No, because you try to achieve exactly that, getting the pixels distributed evenly, and they already are in oversampled images. It will only give you an image twice as large and blurry as hell. Oversampled images tend to be very blurry. That's why most Richie Gretchen images look blurry. You need to sharpen them afterwards. And yeah, Drizzle needs undersampling, a good dithering, and a lot of integration time because it will induce noise. And let's talk about when to apply Drizzle. It is applied when stacking. In DSS, you just hit the Drizzle ×2 button and it works. No, not this one. Over here in the stacking parameters, choose 2 times Drizzle. You may need to look out, the files will be pretty large and processing can take a lot of time. And you need to find a way of to import them into Photoshop properly. If you use APP, for example, you can set that when stacking as well. Integrate. And down here in Drizzle integration, I leave this the same. Droplet size I usually go for 2.25 as in the recommended settings. And the integrate mode will be, it will tell you which one you will need. And yes, Drizzle integration, short explanation, this. This is the short explanation actually. Yeah, and in PixInsight it's a bit more complicated. There are multiple steps in PixInsight. I have a video, I think I included Drizzle integration in my PixInsight series, I hope so. But when, I think it was, let's go for the one step into stacking with PixInsight is the star alignment, and you can generate Drizzle data. It will generate a file for each light frame, and if you need to throw them into image integration as well. No, and you need to put those into Drizzle integration. I have this on my PixInsight series on the channel. Any more questions on drizzling? I feel like my my professor now at university. Do you have any more questions about what we're talking about today? Do you have any more questions about transistors, maybe? About doping or anything like that? Well, oh, sorry, we're not talking about camera sensors, but something like that. Very interesting. Just closing all these windows. Alright people, let's bring the music back. Lecture over. Text? There we go. I'm glad that many people find my APP and PixInsight tutorials that helpful. I'm really glad. Always happy that I can help. I'm not the master of PixInsight by any means, but I'm glad I can help maybe beginners to get into there. And I really only redid the things I learned from the book I read over PixInsight. About PixInsight. Are there more questions around anything? Otherwise I will return to maybe discussing some targets. Some summer targets I want to shoot. If we get some clear nights finally. I'm sorry. Don't know what's up with that. My guides led you to purchasing PixInsight. I hope you will like PixInsight, I really hope. What are you studying? It's called Optronics and Machine Vision. Everything from building a camera, how a camera works, up to taking an image and extracting information from that image. Imagine taking an image of a bird and your phone will tell you which species that bird is. All of that is pure mathematics and image processing, and that's what I'm doing. Too loud music? I hope not. I was just thinking about one thing. Come on. I wanted to mention one interesting... Ah, yes. Maybe if you have any other questions, maybe questions about what's happening over here. Or maybe what's happening over here. I wonder if people are even interested in something like this. But I just want to be always clear what I'm doing. Let's see. Do I need dew heaters for a reflector scope? They don't catch the dew as easily as refractors, but eventually, yes, you will need them. If you go to on any Astro site, Astro shop, you go to the RC section or reflector section and then to accessories, you will see dew heaters that are round, yes, round bands, but they lay flat on the back of the main mirror. It's not sponsorship, Andy. Not yet, let's say. Do you still have the TS71 quad? No, I don't. I sent that back because it was horribly collimated and really bad. I now am very happy with my TechnoSky APO, and I'm planning to do a full review on that very soon. And no, it's not a sponsorship of Highpoint Scientific. They approached me just at first to lay some sort of connections, to just reach out. Right now they gave me this and a mug. And you may have seen that there are some affiliate links in the YouTube descriptions recently. But that's everything for now. If there's a sponsorship coming out in the future, I will of course tell you in the videos. Can I put this back again? Yes. Now I have the chat over here. Have you tried Nina? Yes, it's on my laptop right now. The problem is, if there's a clear night, I don't really want to spend the night learning something new. I want to shoot. That's why I'm always hesitant about trying new things. But I will eventually test out Nina, yes. I'm upgrading to mono soon. Great. Any tips? I don't shoot mono. Be amazed by the sensitivity. Which targets should I try first beyond the moon and the Milky Way? With a Celestron 127 EQ is my first telescope. Let me see how this telescope looks. Well, beyond that, Andromeda Galaxy, Orion Nebula, anything that is bright and big. Andromeda Galaxy, Orion Nebula, with some long exposures, maybe Pinwheel Galaxy, nebulae targets, anything in Cygnus, anything big, the Zeta region maybe. That could help. The best telescope to view deep space, and what? The best telescope to view deep space. You are saying the best telescope? My answer is Hubble. What are you expecting from me? There is no best telescope. The best telescope is that one you like. And in my opinion, the best telescope is easy to handle and gives the results you want. And it's easy to understand, and that's a refractor. Anything between 300 and 1000 millimeters works. Alright, let's read this one. Is the go-to function enough to track the stars with it for photos? And is it the function with the guiding camera the best? And is the function with the guiding camera the best? Or can the go-to do it alone? Go-to means move to the star. Not tracking. If your mount has go-to, it can definitely track the target. It will go to and then move slowly with the target. And on top of that, you can include guiding, tracking the target even better than the mount usually does. Is the delay so big? These replies are coming in very late. Tracking is good, guiding is better, and on top of that, dithering, you can always improve it. You might, if you are not using your TS71 anymore, you might want to consider updating the titles of the film's videos you have with it. Well, none of these are saying I'm using this right now. I was using it, I made a review on it, and yeah, I sent it back and now I have a new one. Expose your drive sales and help prevent bad experiences. I guess so, yes. Do you have anything planned for Cygnus? Yeah, you joined quite late. We're discussing Cygnus. The first thing is to do a wide field, perfectly framed image of the Veil Nebula, and maybe move on to the North American Nebula after that. How best to attempt M16? Point your telescope at it and go. Can't really tell you anything more. There are so many factors that play into getting a decent image, and answering those questions in regard of that is pretty hard. Focal length above 1500, refractor or reflector? Imagine how big and heavy a refractor is above 1500, and it's gonna cost almost the same, more than the same, $3,000. Anything above 1200 millimeters, reflector. Lightweight, good to use, great focal length. When do my imageable nights disappear? Thinking about 3 weeks? I'm glad that this time that the deep sky darkness is not gone for that long, but I really hope that summer solstice will be here soon. Is large telescope have high magnification? We don't really ever talk about magnification, we only talk about focal length. And a large telescope, focal length above 1000? Many people define it differently. Anything that has a mirror in it is really recommendable for over 1500 millimeters of focal length. Someone messaged me. Sounds great. How would you go about to set up a mosaic? I pull out Stellarium. Hang on. I've made 2 mosaics in my time right now, up to now. Hang on. I look at the target I want to shoot. Come on. There we go. And you can see almost 4 and the sun is rising again. It sucks. I go over here, get my field of view, and then yeah, there are professional tools that help you plan a mosaic, but my approach is screenshot, 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 and screenshot. Learn about the coordinates and the angle, and start shooting. That's my approach to it. There are better ways, definitely. There are tools in... There are online tools, there's a tool in PixInsight, but it works like this. But you have to do it precisely. You watched Interstellar in class. I haven't watched that fully. Not my type of movie. Javier, you really need to work on... I'm not trying to be an asshole, but why someone have more expensive telescopes? Your questions are not really well defined, let's say. Mosaic at 1500mm, I don't really see a reason why you should do that. Just get a shorter telescope. Would be easier in my opinion. Are there any galaxies or nebulae in the sky in the coming weeks so I can test my Dobson? Viewing from Belgium. Belgium is one hell of a bottle 9, isn't it? I don't have much experience on imaging. Imaging? I have some experience in imaging, but not on visual observing. But the galaxies are on their way out. You can look up at the whirlpool and pinwheel still. If you have some luck, you can maybe go try to find the Ring Nebula in Lyra. But on nebulae, they're not up yet. Late in the night, late in the night. I guess Nina has a tool for mosaicing too. Haven't tried it out yet. I'm going into Nina very slowly. Telescopius, K-stars, Stellamate, yeah, can be done. Watched your video on the OAG. Thought it was easier. The question is, would you recommend it for 420mm? No. Guide scope, definitely, way easier. Can you go over the bin process? Bin? Do you mean binning? Are you referring to binning? Maybe again type if you are referring to binning, because I don't know what bin means anyways. Ellen! Holy! Hello, Ellen! Wow! Everybody watching, we have a master of photography in the chat right now. Alan Wallace is here, holy! I'm glad that you found the time to look at this. And no, my weather is not better than yours right now. Yesterday we had a hailstorm for 2 minutes, and then it was sunny again for 2 minutes, and then it was a hailstorm again, and it went on like that. And it will go on like that for the next months, I suppose. You asked about binning. Binning? Look at your pixel grid of your camera. A pixel grid of 9 pixels, 3 by 3. It processes the information you get out of those pixels. Binning 1 means to count the value in each pixel and just take the image. If you bin 2, binning 2 by 2 means that the pixels are summed up and then the average is taken, I believe, in size in half. It will be cut in half. Binning 2. Binning 3, 3 by 3 pixel will be pixel. Slower talking, Tim. If you bin by 3, A 3x3 pixel grid will be calculated into 1 pixel and your image size will shrink and it will become sharper. Some people recommend... Hello, are we still live? Hello, hello, what's going on? Are we still live? YouTube is telling me that the stream ended. What's going on? Jesus, I was scared for a second there. I hope we are back. Alright, I guess so. I guess my explanation about binning wasn't the best. Binning is a process where you reduce the size of the image to make it look sharper. Binning on a small camera sensor doesn't really make sense. It can make sense if you guide, maybe. But if you are not very experienced and just getting into astrophotography, leave your hands off binning and use 1 by 1. This will mean that your image will be just taken as it is. Binning 2 by 2 will mean that a 2 by 2 pixel grid will be calculated into 1 pixel. 3 by 3 and 4 by 4 is the maximum for most cameras. Alan came and broke the internet. Yeah, I know, April does what it wants. One of those German sayings I really started to understand this April. RS Universe, have you read the comments under the latest video? Are you referring to that? Because I answered one type of that comment exactly. 100 times 130 second exposures or 10-300. 10-300. If you can. If you are not overexposing your image. 10 times 300. The signal to noise ratio will be the same in both images. You captured the same amount of photons. But it is not the same. Two images with the same SNR can look different. And you have way better detail in 10 times 300. Do CMOS cameras really have hardware binning? Hardware binning? Well, it's just a calculation process in the end. Binning is a software process. And if I say go for long exposures, I of course don't mean overexposing the image, never. But go as long as you can. Say it like that. Red Cat 51 versus Rokinon. You can't really compare those. I know the Rokinon is made for astrophotography, but the Red Cat is, in the end, a telescope. The Red Cat does have a helical focuser, just as, well, I guess they are pretty comparable, yes. But the Red Cat will perform better, just because it is a telescope, in my opinion. It takes less time to stack 10 pictures than stacking 100, yes, that's true as well. Any plans for a new mount? Nope. I will try to fix this HQ5 up until it breaks completely. There are of course downside in long exposure images. The most recent ones, satellites. But if you don't have too many in there, you can just calculate them out via rejection. ZWO's own instructions on the website say binning is not recommended, because you can bin in post-processing later if you feel it really needed. Yes. The only reason I would consider binning is the images are cut in half and therefore the data transmission from camera to laptop is way faster. if you don't have a 3.0 port, this can be the only option you have if you want to get these images over there. Working with shows frame to wait. That's some pretty long exposures you're telling me right now. I've read under Trevor's videos very often that he got people into astrophotography, and now people start to write that under my videos as well. I still can't believe it. You got into astrophotography because of my mediocre content. Okay. Did you address the RA motor on your mountain? I did not yet. I think it works. I took apart the entire thing and rebuilt it with new grease. Hang on, we discussed that in class recently. CCD cameras have hardware binning, which reduce SNR. Binning will increase the SNR. If you have so many small pixels, each pixel will hardly get photons and your noise will increase. One hour per frame in 1 meter focal length. Jesus, you did a good job in that. Have you tried Iris Nebula with Optimum L Pro? No, I tried the Iris Nebula with the Astronomic CLS CCD. It works, yes. But for the Iris Nebula I really recommend dark skies. Such dark nebulae really benefit from dark skies. I think I said that in every stream. I once took an image of the Iris Nebula from my backyard. I poured exposure time into it and it looked decent. And then I took a single sub from a dark sky and it looked way better. A single sub. Dark skies. Always. Can large telescopes see Pluto? Well, let's see. I'm opening Stellarium. Pluto. I guess, for me, my Ricci Correction telescope is a large telescope. Focal length of over 1 meter. Pluto. No earthbound telescope can take a real good look at Pluto. Look at this. How small it is. No way. You don't need to change your plans on the Iris Nebula, I just mean that you have to pour the exposure time into that. Dark skies for dark nebs. Well summed up. What scope do you have that has 1 meter focal length? This one. What you just saw is a 6-inch Ricci Correction telescope, focal length 1370 millimeters. Bottle 1 is cheating. Three hours. Bottle. Yeah, dark skies really can't beat any filter. even the best filter will lose horribly against a dark sky. What is the magnification to see Pluto? Well, we recently, and if I mean we, I talk about me and AstroLux in the chat, we talked on Twitch about the magnification of the Hubble Space Telescope, which means a focal length of over 70 meters with a 4 times Barlow. And it hardly can resolve Pluto. How's the field distortion of this RC? If you collimate it good, you can use micro four thirds or maybe APS-C sensor, but not a full frame. If you want to use full frame, you need to go for a bigger rejection, at least 8 inch. HA versus bottle 1. Always go with bottle 1, yes. I don't have that option, sadly, so I'll go with HA. Do you have a rule of thumb about lengths of sub-exposure on galaxies and nebulae? I never had a rule of thumb. On galaxies, anything that do the maximum longest exposure, so you can fit 60 of those images into one night. I think that's a good plan to start with, in a long night, not a summer night, a winter night. 60 images, 60 long exposed images will give great detail of galaxies. Opting L Pro for galaxies or astronomic CLSCCD? I would use the L Pro if my light pollution wasn't that bad. If you live in bad light pollution, go for the CLSCCD. It's stronger. I heard the RC is a pain to collimate. How was it for you? It took me 2 years. This thing lasted 2 years because I would not want to try to collimate it again. Three nanometer HA. Those filters are hella expensive. Do you believe in aliens? As an amateur scientist, of course I do. But have you ever heard of the Fermi paradox? We will never get to see aliens because the distances in this space is so vast. It would be rather terrifying and lonely to think that we are, and unrealistic to think that we are alone. And ever heard of Drake's Law? It tells that in each galaxy there is almost 100% chance that 2 intelligent civilizations live in there. And there are millions of galaxies out there. Yeah, I guess the Antlia filters, I guess they work. If you sell all your gear, you still have no money for one single 3 nanometer filter. Yeah, Jesus. They're hella expensive. The prices for filters in general have gone dramatically up in the last years. I still remember astronomic filters from way back when. They were much cheaper then. We'll turn the music a bit down. You're working on M16 with the 3 meter... Please specify which telescope you're using, Lux, because 3 meter f2.9 doesn't sound really realistic. Unless you have maybe an observatory to work with. Oh yeah, that song. I want to listen to that song. Is it recommended to shoot narrowband with a DSLR? It is not recommended, but it's definitely not impossible. If your camera is not Astro modified, don't try to shoot narrowband, HA, don't try. Only if your camera is modified. If your camera is not modified and you use an HA filter, you will get about 2% of HA signal. Because an unmodified camera only passes about 20% and then put the filter on that, forget it. Imagine cracking a 2-inch 3nm HA filter from Astronomic. Crack. That's $1,000 wasted right there. Lux, I'm jealous. That's true as well. You have all the time shooting nebulae with nebulae filters, it works great, but if you want to shoot galaxies, broadband targets, go for that. Will there be an ASR Pro review? I guess. But planning such a video takes so much time, which I don't have right now. That song was over quite quickly. Alright, let me start Stellarium again to maybe talk about some more targets this summer. Why can't I see my mouse? Hello, Stellarium. Sometimes with Stellarium I can't see my mouse. And it's quite annoying. Lux, I know that I need to travel somewhere dark. Do you think it's possible to use an EQ5 for astrophotography? That's tracking mode, isn't it? And tracking mode? Yeah, sure it is. I prefer very long single exposure of DSO. Magnitude 23, well done. My record magnitude was, I think, 18 or 19. Do you know about dwarf planet Eris? Of course I do. Of course I know about it. Alright, we're talking about this one in the background. This one in the background. Some targets for the summer. We already talked about Cygnus. There it goes, and it's out. And from my perspective, all this is behind house. I will need to focus on Cygnus, anything below it, some clusters in Hercules, and the prime target will be Cepheus, because there's so much in there. I've shot many of these before, let's now go for this, Iris Nebula, definitely, from Dark Skies. Elephant Trunks Nebula if you have maybe good HA filters and a wide field objective or lens. Telescope, short telescopes. There are some pretty hard targets in Cepheus, but they look awesome. Reflection Nebulae. Outside of that region we have this weird thing which has no name, at least not in Stellarium. The Wizard Nebula, such a hard target in my opinion, in 2 tries could not get it right. The Bubble Nebula, either framed up. Look at this, the Nova is actually catalogued in Stellarium, that's amazing. Well done. The Bubble Nebula, either framed with somewhere like this, because there's a smaller nebula up there, so maybe framing like this. Or maybe this, the Lobster Claw Nebula I believe it's called. You can get some great framing around the bubble, or maybe if you go close in, The Bubble Nebula is such an amazing target if you pour the exposure time and narrowband filters into this. I'm talking about HA03 and S2. And that's everything in Cepheus. Maybe this thing that has no name. And we'll get to Cassiopeia later. Pac-Man, Autumn target, apart from Andromeda Galaxy, of course. Where did I miss the questions? Where did I leave you guys? My nose is itching. Hello, Sammy. Welcome. 15 minutes on Auriga, Flaming Star. That's really tough for 15 minutes. You live in a dark sky, don't you? Because I once had 3 hours of data on Flaming Star and it looked awful. Through a night of imaging, does full width half maximum increase? Yes, it does. Every refracted telescope loses focus during the night. Doesn't matter how good your focuser is. It can be a fault of the focuser, but it's unlikely. Even Crayford focusers can hold the focus overnight. The problem is just the thermal expansion and contraction of the scope. With my refractor, 740mm, standard f7, I refocus every 3 degrees the temperature dropped. You need to refocus multiple times when the temperature drops drastically. Have you tried any SH2 targets? I believe it's shapless or sharpless. And I suppose the Tulip Nebula counts as one of those, doesn't it? Pretty hard to shoot these. Good targets for 750 telescope with the ZWO. 750mm fits for so many things. Either get a deep look into nebulae, anything in Cygnus, or you can maybe still catch some galaxies. Pinwheel, Whirlpool. They look pretty nice in 750. And I never quote any targets from the south because I can't see those. I don't even know that those exist from my backyard. CMOS camera, color versus mono, total. Wait, CMOS camera, color versus mono, total exposure time for the whole session. Who realistically has the shortest one? Well, with mono you can achieve the same result as in color with shorter exposures. Bottle 45, super noisy, stretching, yes. Unfiltered, mono DSLR, you can really get great details with longer exposures. Refocus a lot in the night if the temperature drops. What about dew? Well, only in winter. Yes, you have problems with dew in winter, but if you have dew heater bands around your main telescope and the guide scope, it's no problem anymore. Which scope is your favorite, Technosky or Omegon? They are hard to compare because of the difference in focal length, but I like the Technosky more, as for now. Have you ever had a doublet? No. Well, if you have a doublet, the thing is, if I buy a short telescope, I wanted to have everything. Correction of color and distortion. If I buy a pricey telescope, this should be a completely corrected telescope, a quadruplet or triplet. I don't want to put an extra field flattener or color or chroma corrector in there. I want it to be done. Alright. It has been about 2 hours now, and if you know the stream, they are mostly about 2 hours long. Let's see. Because I already feel that I'm getting a bit tired. The lack of caffeine is not helping. Get a Takahashi if you want perfect everything. Yes, that's true. The best telescopes, just the best telescopes. Takahashi. Telescope quality, price. Problems with dew. There are things you can help with dew if you don't have dew heaters. For example, if you plant the telescope on grass, put maybe a plastic foil, a big plastic foil on the grass, and you will get maybe 30 minutes without dew, because all the water will vaporize and then set on your scope. The Borg 90FL, I know that one, that's amazing. Between the RC and the LCT, I'm satisfied with the RC. Yes, I'm satisfied with the RC. But I really don't like that it's such a hassle to handle the entire thing. Handling a small refractor is so much easier and you can get the nights so much better done. Should get the L Pro. I'm still thinking if you should get the L Pro unmodded. Bottle for Sky unmodded cam. Well, unmodded is always the thing, yes you can do it, but shooting in Nebula is extremely hard. Love this music. 150 PDS Newton. Sounds great. If me, sorry. Okay. How many good nights do you have in your area? On average, 2 per month. Yeah, the shapless targets are really hard. With an one-shot color, I don't have any experience with mono yet, maybe. Maybe in the future, when I have an actual job and actual money to spend. All of this right now, AstroAddict isn't such a weird place. If I get to work, if I'm out of studying and get a job, maybe looking for... It will be such a hard thing to continue this hobby, I think, but I will give my best to do that. Not to throw any shade, of course. I love this hobby, I love this channel, I love the response of every single one of you. What cooled cam can you recommend? Everything from ZWO. And QHY, there will be a QHY test on this channel in the future. I already have contacts with QHY and they want to send me a 268C to test. But a cooled cam, if you're getting into this hobby, the ASI 294, great thing for beginners, and even advanced photographers can get many good things out of those cameras. Sleep after work, get up at 3 AM, start your day with some AP. If I get up at 3 AM, I set up until 3:30 if I'm fast, and then I have 30 minutes of dark nights. And then the sun's rising again. Doesn't really work. Can you reduce the RC to a faster focal ratio? You can, but this will also reduce the focal length. but a focal reducer on an RC gives you more freedom on what to shoot. I agree, Wheeljack, I definitely agree. I will not, even if this channel would break 10 million subscribers tomorrow, I would definitely continue my education, don't worry. Did I miss a question? Didn't see a part 2 about what exactly? ASR, yeah. Can't help it. ZWO cameras in ASR. What do you think about the 533's square sensor? Coming from landscape scenes, anomalous and Instagrammy. The shape of the sensor doesn't really matter in Astro. Most objects are round. And if you have square pixels, a square sensor makes so much sense actually. You can have much better algorithms, you can have much better processing, and the technique on the entire thing, the technology can be made so much better. And you see the 533 has no amp glow. The amp glow reduction is spot on. The 533, great camera. I can advise you over to, I suppose, Astrophotography. Razine has been using the 533, and Tom from Astro Canuck has used the 533 as well. Is using it still, and they can recommend it. I've watched them. Raspberry Pi. I have a Raspberry Pi right here. I have to use that for a project. With AstroBerry. Well, all these open source stuff, yes, it works, but it's not something for me. I want to know that it works, and I want to have a warranty on everything. My thoughts on the Canon RA, overpriced or underrated? Overpriced, I don't know, underrated. Underrated? If you want to invest in deep sky astrophotography, no, not a Canon RA, no. Cooled, dedicated camera costs way less than the RA and will perform better. If you're on the move, traveling with a small star tracker, yes, the RA will be good. Alright people, if you want to punch out any sorts of questions that are on your mind right now, do it now. Because it's been over 2 hours now, I'm getting tired already. These streams are a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, I've seen that Nico has released a video on the RA. Yeah. Looking at the Summer Nebulae wide scope, TS, RASA, William Optics. Well, the telescopes you mentioned are pretty long if you consider wide. The RASA, I believe, has the shortest focal length. TS, well, 650 if you have maybe. Of course, the sensor size can change everything, but the TS650 sounds like a good idea. Maybe make the music a bit louder because we are drawing to the end. If you can afford a RASA and mount a RASA on a mount, get a RASA. I can't go for a RASA because the HG5 can only handle the Vixen style dovetail bars. And I believe it couldn't even handle the weight of the RASA. Alright people, it's been a pleasure, as always, making these streams for you, and talking to the community in general is such a nice thing. I will end this for today. It's already dark outside. Well, dark-ish. Doesn't get any better soon. Nautical twilight. But Tiago, no problem for these streams. I really enjoy those. Alright. C6 with Hyperstar. You're making me laugh. So, but yes, it is a great idea. Dark and raining, always raining in May. Do we have a great outro song? Nice matching headphones and chair. Yeah, my girlfriend gave this one to me. She couldn't stand my old chair, which was falling apart. Hello, where are the playlists on here? I want my playlist. This one. People, this stream has been amazing. I love it every time when I can talk to you. You can see which song I'm playing right now, and I will end it on this. My name is Tim, I'm AstroAddict. I wish you clear skies, and may the night be with us. Maybe forgot to give the small salute, but we will forget about that. See ya!